Welcome to Easy Math TV. This is the sixth video in our series on loans as part of our uh, playlist that involves the time value of money. And it seems like loans are a big deal because there's so many different kinds, and there's it just gets very confusing with all the different fees and different kinds of loan terms and restrictions. So we're going to compare three kinds of loans today, given that you're going to borrow $23,000 with 8% interest for 30 months. So that's the scenario, and we're going to compare the different kinds of loans. So one of the best sources of information for this kind of stuff is on creditkarma.com. And what you see here is a blurb from one of their articles. And this one is basically about what is Rule 78. So in my previous video, I gave you an illustration of what the difference between just a simple interest, standard simple interest loan and the Rule of 78 is. But it's explained a little bit more in detail on this website, creditkarma.com/personal-loans/I/what is Rule 78 with dashes in between all those words. So you can see the URL right here on the screen. If you want to visit there, you can. But let's get our spreadsheet set up for comparing two different types of simple interest situations. So under loan A, you're going to be doing simple interest calculated up front and then spread equally over all payments. So that's going to be in columns A through D. Loan B, same amount, same loan amount, same number of months, same interest rate, but we're going to apply the Rule of 78 over in columns F through J. All right. So basically, let's start by just calculating some of the primary numbers that we need upfront for just any loan. So like no matter what the loan is, these are the numbers that we're going to need in our calculations, especially if we want to see what the difference is in what happens in each payment. How much of the loan is going to interest and how much of it is actually bringing down the balance that you still owe. Okay. So in cell A3, that's where you're just going to type in your interest rate. So we just type in our 8%. In cell B3, we just type in our loan amount. That's $23,000. If we don't know what the loan amount is, maybe we know what the monthly payment is. Instead, we can use one of the other spreadsheets that we have set up. One of the other sheets will help us to calculate what the monthly payment is under simple interest. So remember, this is simple interest we're talking about here. In cell C3, we have our number of months, which is 30. So this spreadsheet is set up to deal with payments happening every month, okay? Just to keep things a little bit simpler. In cell D3, that's our first calculation. So we want to know what the total of all of our payments is. That's basically our future value. So that's equals B3 plus B3 times A3 times C3 divided by 12, because we have to turn our interest rate into a monthly interest rate. Okay, so we have to take our interest rate, divide it into 12 chunks. So again, equals B3 plus B3 times A3 times C3 divided by 12. That goes in cell D3. And that is the total of all of our payments. To calculate our monthly payment, we don't use the PMT formula. It's really important that you do not use that, because the equals PMT formula is specifically for compound interest that's compounding at the same rate as your payments are being made. So our monthly payment is literally just going to be equals D3 divided by C3. We're taking the total of all of our payments and we're splitting it evenly between all 30 months. That's all we're going to do. Okay, so monthly payment equals D3 slash C3. And that's in cell F3. Going over to G, column G, that's going to be our interest payment. So that's going to tell us what like what the interest payment would be if it was just evenly spread over each month. Okay, evenly spread over each month. So equals parenthesis D3 minus B3 close parenthesis slash C3. That's what you need there for the interest payment. Again, that's equals parentheses. So we have to take the total of all of our payments and subtract the original loan amount. That tells us the amount of interest, the total interest. Put parentheses around that and divide by the number of months. So we want to split that evenly between all 30 months. So that's basically what a standard uniform interest payment would be. And that goes in cell G3. Under total interest paid, all we have to do there is take our total of all of our payments and subtract the loan amount. So it's equals D3 minus B3. Again, that's equals David 3 minus Bravo 3, in case my D's and B's sound alike. And that's happening in H3. Then we have this interesting number here called the rule of 78 number. And I'm not going to explain the formula, but it's a mathematical formula that we have from number theory. The number theory formula is for what you get when you add up the first so many integers. So in this case, we would be adding up all the numbers from 1 to 30. And it's kind of messy to have to try to sum those all out. So we use the number theory formula, okay? So in cell I3, we're going to type equals, and that's going to be C3, that's our N. Think of that as our N, our number of payments, equals C3 times parentheses C3 plus 1. So it's basically N times N plus 1. And then you have to divide that by 2. So you're basically taking an average. It equals C3 times C3 plus 1 with parentheses around the C3 plus 1 divided by 2. So make sure that you include those parentheses there and multiply the two quantities together and then divide by 2 to take the average. And that's, in this case, it's because there's 30 payments, our rule of 78 number is 465. And then we have this extra little phenomena happening over here. We have this fee for early repayment. So just in case that applies in a problem-solving situation, because sometimes that happens. If you're going to repay your loan early, sometimes there's a fee. And in this case, the fee is going to be 1% of the loan amount. So the fee for early repayment under J3 is equals 0.01 times B3. That's our fee for early repayment. Okay, so what we've just done is we've gone across, we've actually set this up without going any further down, like without, even if we didn't do anything with rows 4 and below, we have enough numbers here that we would know, we would be able to do some basic calculations and figure out like what the difference between our two loans would be, you know. And I think we're going to have to finish this spreadsheet in the next video. So I'm going to split this into 2. And now that we have all of these numbers in row 3, we can move on to actually do some comparison between our different loans. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Make sure that you share these videos with people who might find them helpful. in their financial math or business math classes, and I'll see you in the next video.